Hello. So most people think wealth comes from grinding 24/7. The truth is, rest is a part of the strategy. Just like recovery, for building muscles, the same thing with building wealth. And in general, like when you're, and I'm saying this because I am sick, and I'm trying to toss this out there because even now, from time to time, I feel like I still have to be working or doing something and grinding. And it takes a bit, right? It takes a bit for you to know that you're going to have to recover. You're going to have to stop for a second, and then you're going to have to just relax and then make sure that you can just give yourself that time to recover. I know some of you are parents and some of you have kids, but have your kids take care of you. I don't have that luxury, but I've got two huskies that try and take care of me. Let's talk about 3 points, to kind of discuss about around this topic and how in the long term this will actually be good for you because of just the strategies around it. So point number one is more about my story, about me being sick and how it forces me to slow down. And you too. It'll force you to kind of take a little break, and then your body's literally going to shut you down regardless. And so might as well take advantage of it, get that rest that you need. It's all the same thing when you're investing to XRP, if you're investing to stocks, if you're investing to businesses. You're going to need to slow down or else you're going to burn out. It's the same thing. Trading 24/7 leads to a lot of emotional mistakes, right? That's generally what happens. Same thing when you're not all there. And you even, this when you're working as well too. You can't make the right decisions. And so just take the time, take a rest, slow down, and make sure that you understand that it's for the long term. Taking rest will allow you to, kind of reset and reflect and come back a lot sharper. So generally, the markets will reward those who can pace themselves and really understand not to overreact, right? At the end of the day, this is a lot more for me, and then keeping myself accountable as well too. And then also I would like to share it with you guys. So it's part of the strategy. It's not a weakness, I believed in the work grind, but then the second that I tried to shift my mind to work smarter, my life just it just works so much easier, when you're able to actually work a lot smarter. And then you're just like, why not take that break? It's kind of like figuring out how to retire. If you think of it as oh, this is never gonna happen, this is too hard, because you're only thinking about that one specific end goal is to retire. But really, if you identify what your outcomes are supposed to be, what do you want to be actually doing when you retire, and what is your end goal, and you kind of back into it, right? And then after that you start breaking down chunks of goals. Then it's very simple and very easy to actually get to. There's playbooks out there, whether or not if you're massively into debt, and then that's one hurdle that you have to clear out. That's just a goal. That's just a milestone that you have to reach. Clear out your debt. What's the next step? Have emergency funds saved up. What's the next step after that? And within each of these steps, there's processes, there's more tasks and goals that you have to clear out for. Now, if you don't understand that, then let me know, comment below, and I'll see if I can find a way to help you, because some of these strategies are very, very basic, and I just wish that I don't know, the society just wants us to get into this rabbit hole, and then they want us to keep on getting into this vicious cycle, because that, to me, that's what I've seen, throughout my whole career. why not just get a break out of it and then have that freedom, to do what you want. Then you can actually take your rest, do what you need. So talking point number 2, I can ramble on all day for, about that. But talking point number 2, the days that you take rest are actually your growth days. When you're able to, it's kind of like working out. When you're having a rest day, you're giving your muscles a lot of time to kind of soak in what you've already built. And it's all the same thing with your mind too. When you try and go on vacation, right? Vacation, sick days, like whatever the case is, when your body's trying to rest and so is your mind, then you're able to actually think a lot clearer, and then you can actually plan your next steps and understand like what's been happening through all the craziness, the chaos, and all that good stuff, right? So don't overtrain and don't overstimulate your mind, your investments, and your body, because it'll just, at the end of the day, like in return, what I can think of is like overtrading. It'll lead to blown accounts, and then bad decisions. So make sure you give yourself enough time to get some rest, do what you need. Make sure that's a part of your plan and your strategy, because you're gonna need it. And then you can use that time to do whatever you need. You can just get a lot more clear-minded. So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is gonna be rest clears a lot of the noise. When you're able to take rest, you can see clearly, like I don't know how to explain it. Like you can see clearly because you're able to like take a second and just kind of journal, and then taking a step back, and then you see, hey Google, pause. Hey Google, stop. And so like you can actually have more clarity by taking a step back, instead of chasing like all the hype that's going on, right? You're able to see like what's going on. So prime example was XRP. With all the noise that's happening, even when it turns red, you get all this noise. It's like, oh yeah, it's like it's gonna go down to 50 cents, it's gonna go down to 0, blah blah blah, right? And even when it's all green and everything's pumping up, that's when like it's too much noise. So like sometimes taking a break even during those periods, it's going to be good for you, because then you can actually see, and then you can take a step back and do a lot of clear reviews. What I generally do is I'll take that downtime. I'll review my dollar cost averaging strategies, progress, refine, any strategies that I need for my short plays. And then also like journal down like, hey, how far away am I to my goal? How far away am I to ensuring that I'm good on investing? Do I need to add more? Do I need to reduce some? Do I need to diversify some more? And then I also look up some of the news that's going on. That I do that daily, but then like I'll just look up tiny stuff, and then other days, if I want a full rest, I'll just stay off of all of it. I'll just stay off of the markets, stay off of the computer, stay off of everything. Sometimes I'll take like 2 days and do that. And then I'll just work out, clear my mind. This case, I was sick, so what did I do? I just chilled, rest. I got a lot of sleep in. And then I did catch, like 2 workouts. And but they were like just very light workouts. Went to sauna, watched some anime, just clear my mind. But I was still trying to strategize like YouTube, AI, building up my digital portfolios, and then seeing like, hey, what's my next step? What else am I going to do, to grow these businesses? And so that was what I ended up doing. So yeah, that's kind of talking point, 3. Again, is just making sure that you have a clear mindset. Don't chase the hype. Take a second to get the rest that you guys need and deserve. Smart money. So smart money doesn't chase every headlines, guys. they wait, and then they act very decisively. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of toss those out there, get mainly for those of you who are like workaholics, who like to work like myself, and make sure you take some time. Don't grind 24/7. Don't burn yourself out. Some of that term, to me, when people are talking about burning out, if you enjoy what you're doing, you're not gonna really burn out. But if there's gonna be stuff within your day to day that you don't like doing, and then you're gonna have to constantly do it every single day, even when you're sick, that's how it's gonna start burning you out. The core of it, the value of it, and then you enjoy your work, you enjoy the outcome. But what if, like, I don't know, that week you just got to do it consistently, and it's something that you don't like doing? Guys, your mind is gonna start tricking you into stuff that, like, when you're sick too, like, your mind's gonna start tricking you into stuff where you're gonna start burning out. Please, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment below if you enjoy these types of videos. Again, thank you guys. Catch you in the next one. Oh, yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.